ultimately it is always nice to make some sales as well. So if you don't have a website, if you don't have anywhere to link through to, it's also nice then you can use the Artisanry links to your products and put them into your pins. So if anybody that comes across your pins, they can just click on it and it'll take them straight to the product again, which is a really nice strong call to action. And then this quote is really lovely. A tweet lasts for hours, a Facebook update days, a pin is forever, which just shows you that the longevity of a pin, I mean, someone can go and search something on Pinterest and they can see things from, forever. But if you look at Twitter, for example, tweets last a few hours. They get lost. It's very, very fast. So that's a really, really good way to gain traction as well, and to also create content and resharing pins. And I'll get to that now in the next few slides. But like I said, it is about having a portfolio and a place to show who you are. So the reason, it's not just about being strategic. You need to be able to show people who you are. And if you don't have a website, Pinterest really is a great place. And I know Instagram is as well. It's very visual, but we need to also consider Pinterest as well. So I know quite a few of you don't have Pinterest accounts, and this is really why it's so important. And the way that you can kind of create this identity or brand for yourself, you don't have to get super fancy. You know, if you don't have the time or the resources to put into getting logo designs or anything like that, these are just really simple ways you can really just keep things looking slick and really beautiful on your profile. So sticking to a similar style or look and feel, it shows cohesion, and gives a clear understanding of your aesthetic to anybody that's looking at it in one view. And then using images that you have created rather than using stock images. Of course, not everybody has the resources again to go out and take a bunch of beautiful photos, but in the same breath, try not to use too many stock images. The less stock images you use, the more you'll likely stand out, because your visuals then are more unique. And then, yes, was that just a microphone that came unmuted?
What do you mean by stock images?
Okay, so stock images are, so I'll show you Canva at the end, but what I mean by stock images are images that you can purchase online, or free images that you can download that someone else has taken and you use them.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's quite a few stock image sites, and it really is super useful, especially if you just want to post something kind of generic, you know, or a sale, and maybe you don't have the I don't know, something that's really bright and bold and stands out, and you kind of want to use the standard stock image, you know, fireworks, I don't know, whatever it may be, to make it stand out. So those are stock images, and you'll actually notice a lot of brands, sometimes you can recognize certain photos are used in quite a few different places by different people, and that's because of stock imagery. And then, yeah, again, Pinterest is a way to share your knowledge with other people and create a community as well.
Sorry, Ilana is asking a question here. God, I don't know. Sorry, there was a question from Ilana asking about the stock images as well. Ilana, do you mean rather than add stock images, to add lifestyle images? No, I think what Lisa is saying is to not use free or stock images as much, rather use your own imagery. If that, you know, use your own work as much as possible, even if sometimes you think, for example, the firework example is a good one. If you wanted something really bright and cheery to say you've got December sales, you know, try and limit the use of the stock images or images that are not your own, because you want your customer to look at at your product or your pin and recognize it. And I think on an SEO point of view, it does better as well when you have your own images.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is with stock images is you'll actually find, even on certain websites, you'll find a lot of companies use the same imagery. Maybe it's shot from different angles, but they've just purchased stock standard images, really. And so, yeah, when someone goes onto your Pinterest profile, they want to be able to see your work more than anything else. So not just, random photos of other things, whether it be landscapes or anything else, So yeah, so basically, going back to the community point as well, it is, and I think when it comes to the artisan community specifically, there really is a sense of community where everyone likes to kind of share ideas, discuss things, get pointers, and Pinterest is a really, really lovely way to do that, again, by joining and creating groups. And I'll show you another really great tool as well later, where you can find people that have similar interests to you as well. And then this is just a very, very minor point, but something that gets picked up a fair amount is if you are using someone else's pin, if you're repinning anything, or if you're using someone else's image, it's just, just common courtesy to just tag them in it. Again, it's just, you need to try and keep your work as unique to you as possible. So we also mentioned that we've got our monthly viewership. So it can increase a fair amount. So what that basically means, let me rewind quickly. Your monthly viewership is how many people have been viewing your pins throughout that month. And ours was on 30,000. It's now on 300,000. And that's purely just for making sure that you're using the correct keywords and you're posting as much as possible, and getting your work out there. So a few tips to generate more monthly views and followers. So of course, the more people you follow, the more you create that community, the more people will want to follow you back. Something as simple as following others, following other people, either in the industry or following other makers that might have different focuses as well. And then again, repinning, commenting, really engaging with other people. You can't expect other people to engage with you, your brand, your product, if you're not really engaging with them as well. Something very, very simple and small, but please pin portrait. And what I mean by that is your images all need to be portrait, not landscape. It just looks far nicer on Pinterest. It's more appealing because it's a very visual platform. It is something very, very small, but really can make a big difference. And like I said, the more pins you have, the better, the more monthly viewerships you can get. So try set time aside for yourself to create pins each week, or even when you see that we're sharing your work, repin that as well. And if you haven't shared your Pinterest handle with us, please pop it my way, so that we can ensure that you are tagged in everything. The more pins, like I said, the better. So don't delete any pins, and because pins last forever, don't ever delete anything. Someone can come a year later and search for something, and maybe you've done something very niche, and then it will pop up. So try and keep that in mind. And it's also about staying relevant, staying active. If you're not really posting, sometimes people can think, okay, well, and I know you're all busy making things, making beautiful things, trying to put it out there. But if anyone goes and visits, for example, your Pinterest profile and they haven't seen anything from you in a while, they might think, oh, okay, maybe you're not operating anymore. So even, as I said, as simple as repinning, just trying to stay updated, trying to stay relevant, trying to make sure that you're just constantly doing something. Again, set some time aside, even if it's just 30 minutes on the weekend, just going through, and I'll show you some great scheduling tools as well. So while all these pins, the way you create your pins is quite important, how they're displayed on your profile, and how they're segmented into boards is also important. So some people might only have 2 boards, but the more boards you have, the better. And what's great as well is at a later stage, you can actually reuse old pins and put them into new boards. And it's kind of just, like I said, just showing people that you're active. So I'm going to share my screen with you just now, but just to give you a little overview, the boards, other than making things nice and neat and organized, it also shows continuity. If you're using the same look and feel, it really makes things look beautiful. It's easier for people to find things. Instead of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, it's nice, segmented, and I'll show you what Artisanry has done as well. Make as many boards as possible, so there aren't any limits. Some people even have 50 boards. So the more you pin, the more boards you have, again, the more monthly views you can get, the more people will see your products, and the more people will see that call to action and hopefully make a purchase and follow through as well. Boards as well that can maybe segment your products. If I'm going to just keep using jewelry as an example, if you've got necklaces and then you've got earrings, those can be on separate boards. If you've got a new range that you've launched, that can have its own board with products in there. So it's really a nice way to keep things neat, tidy, and kind of think of it as your own little personal website as well. You know, how would people like to see things and what's easiest for them to look at? And then again, I keep coming back to this, but having a similar look and feel, it just speaks to who you are as a brand and your products, and people kind of know what to expect when looking at it. And if you have set up a business account, please make sure that you aren't putting any personal pins there. And if you are, you can create private boards that only you can see. But if you're planning your son's 4th birthday and you're creating jewelry, it can seem a bit strange that you've got, you know, some pins of jewelry and balloons and clowns and things tied in with all of that. So just make sure you keep it separate. And of course, pin your own products. Make sure you're pinning your own products. And I am going to quickly share my screen with you. Okay, so here you can see we've got quite a few boards going now at the moment. We always use the same font style, we use the same layouts. We, you know, if we've got borders on everything, maybe here and there things will be tweaked slightly, but it all ties in together and it's really nice, easy for anyone to look at. So if you want to look for leatherwork, well, the leatherwork is here, digital art, visual art. This is our private board with just our makers in it, felt. And then you can even, I mean, bags can go into leatherwork, but we can also have handmade bags and clothing and accessories. So again, it's about reusing existing pins. You don't have to sit for hours and create content for yourself. Repin what we're creating, put it into your boards. And I'm just going to show you quickly how to create a board. So it's very, very simple. You go to your profile, click on the plus, go to board, and here we can call it Virtual Coffee Pinterest 201. And you can then choose if you want to keep it secret and create it. And here it is. And then we can start pinning and we can invite people because I've now created a community board, and I can now then sit and see, okay, great, who came to the virtual coffee today. I can add you all in. You can all share your ideas, tips, anything else that you found that's interesting about Pinterest. And it's really a nice way for everyone just to share their ideas. But again, you can use this as well to create a board that you want everyone else to see and segment it. You know, if you're selling necklaces, you can put necklaces here. You can create one for bracelets, earrings. go crazy. There's no limits. And then I just want to finish off with a few free tools before I move on to questions. Next, there we go. Okay, so I'm actually going to just continue with this. So I spoke about Canva briefly. So Canva is fantastic. It's super easy to use, and we've done a Canva virtual coffee before as well, but we'll also be looking at doing a more extensive workshop as well. But even at a basic level, it's really, really easy to use. If you don't know what size your Facebook post needs to be, your pins need to be, it's super easy. You click on create a design. Here it'll give you suggestions. Okay, great. We want to create a Pinterest pin. It is now in the exact size that you need to create your pin. Now you're thinking, well, I'm not a designer. What am I going to put up there? They've even got templates for you to use. So you're having a sale. Here's a few, and it will tell you if it's free. So you don't have to purchase the paid for Canva. You really can use the free one. So this one's free. So we'll go, okay, great. Now it's given you this layout here. All you need to do is just tweak it with your changes. So you're having a sale and it's 10% off. Your date, it's from the 22nd of September to the 26th of September. And you want to put your brand name in there. And they even have a few stock images for you to use. Go into photos, and you can look here, and it's I don't know, you want to, here we go. You can search something, or you can say, okay, great, well, I'm having an autumn sale. Here's some pine cones. There you go. And there's your design ready. You can download it. You can keep it as suggested. You really don't need to get technical. Click download, and it will download for you. As simple as that. There we go. Then we can go to our Pinterest board. You can add a pin, create a pin. Autumn sale, make it stand out. We can upload our pin. And there you have it. You can link through to your website. You can link through to your products on the Artisanry portfolio. You can say a little bit more, but that's as simple as that, being able to create something in Canva. You can also publish to Pinterest. I think this is a paid for advantage, but it really is as simple as just doing this.
No, it's not paid for Lisa.
Paid for to schedule through Canva.
Yeah, you can directly publish to Pinterest, and especially when you have only one account, you can actually directly publish to Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Instagram's the only one you can't do it on, but it's pretty straightforward. It's only because we've got, we've got a business account, and you will have your own account, so it might be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So Canva's super, super amazing. You can do so much to it. You can dig a little deeper and click on a few things, but honestly, if you can just do the basics, you really can create such beautiful designs. And like I said, don't always use images that you can get, stock images that you can download. You can put your own images here. You can go to uploads and upload your own image if you want to use your own images. You can create more than one page. You can add designs onto it if you want to showcase a range of products.
Before you move away from Canva, Lisa, just one more thing to add, I think here is that you will, if you used Canva for the other social media as well, there is a way to change the size of the post to Instagram and to Facebook and Pinterest. That way you don't have to recreate work every time, if that makes sense. So you'll have to, the resize thing.
So it's over here. I do think that's a paid for.
Do you think so? That's possible.
It is definitely a paid for.
Sally's saying it is paid for, yeah. Cool.
If you do want to, it's super useful. It's fantastic. And it's super easy. So I'll show you. You can just go resize, and if there's a set, but let's go with, we want to use this for Facebook as well. We can say copy and resize.
Right.
Now you'll see it's just got some extra white space. All you need to do is just, drag it across. There's your Facebook post. It's super convenient. Again, publish to Facebook or download. It's really, really useful. It saves a lot of time, and it kind of makes it a little bit less daunting if you feel like you need to, sit and put loads of creative time into any kind of marketing materials. It's really lovely. So that's Canva. The other tool that's I'm not gonna, I'll use an example. The other tool is Tailwind. So Tailwind you can use to schedule your posts. So if you have a few posts you want to share on Pinterest, sometimes it's better to kind of spread them out throughout the day or stagger them across the week. That way you don't have to sit and manually post and think, oh, I need to post today. I haven't posted yet today. If you just spend 30 minutes when you have time to create all the images, create them on Canva, download them, then you can go into Tailwind and load them there and schedule them and say, great, I want this one to go off on Monday at 10 a.m. and this one to go off on Tuesday at 3 p.m. So Tailwind is fantastic. It's also, the most useful thing I find with Tailwind is you can get an extension or a plug-in for your web browser. So you'll see up here, there's this little blue wing here. And that's because I've installed it. It's very easy. You just say Tailwind and it'll take you straight there in Google. And what this does is if you're browsing the internet and you come across anything, so here's an interesting article on Vogue about why jewelry equals power in feminism's fight for equality, and you come across this image and you think, wow, that's beautiful. It's really striking. You love the article, you love everything in it. If I hover over it, you can see there's actually a little schedule button on it. And if you click on it, it'll bring this up for you. And here it'll show you Pinterest. Here's what it will look like. You say which board you want it to go to. Let's say it's going to go to jewelry, bespoke jewelry, because it's about jewelry. And they actually pull the title in for you and the link of exactly where it goes through. You can add it to a queue. You can schedule it now. You can save it for later. So it's a super, super convenient way to organize your pins, schedule your pins, not have to worry about sitting every single day and going through things. Whenever you come across anything interesting, click on the button, and it's as easy as that. The other one I wanted to discuss was Pin Groupie. So Pin Groupie is where you can go and look for like-minded people and boards on Pinterest that you want to join. So here again, I've put jewelry in, typed it in, and here you can see what boards there are, how many followers there are, how many collaborators there are. So if we go into here, visit this board on Pinterest, and here you can follow this. You can see they've already got 23.6 thousand followers, and everyone's posting in here. It's got beautiful things in it. Follow, and now you can keep track. You can go, oh dear, I've just unshared my screen. Hold on. There we go. Perfect. It should be working. Yes. Again, you can go and you can look. You can even be specific. Sustainable jewelry. Or sustainability. I think a lot of it is also American. Or it's just my spelling. There we go. So here you want to look for anything, sustainability in fashion. Yeah, they've got 2,000 followers, and it's all about sustainability in fashion. It's ways to stay up to date with what's going on, following like-minded people, people who you find interesting, even ways to just get more inspiration, you know, more new techniques you want to learn. So yeah, that's Pin Groupie. It's really, really great. I've just gone through that. Questions?
Sorry, Lisa, there are a few questions that have come through. I didn't want to say anything in between. So I think the first easier one is, Rosalind, you're asking how many pins a day?
Okay, so
one.
So here's okay, like I said, it's not like Twitter. So when in with Twitter, it's, I mean, if you're not tweeting a few times an hour, it really is easy to get lost. Pinterest, if you want to get your monthly views up, I would say 10 pins a day.
Between 5 and 10, I think, as an independent maker, between 5 minimum.
Yeah, definitely. And again, even if it's about repinning, if it's about like I said, going and looking at what we've done and just repinning it, because now we've already created the artwork, we've already got the link there, we've already got your description there, just repinning it, that also cuts out time. Yeah, and even you can even think of it as maybe using different images for different pins, and you know, tweaking the description slightly here and there, and just changing their header slightly. It doesn't have to be these like very, very different pins throughout. Don't overthink it, I think, as well. Like, just post beautiful things. I think that's mostly the main thing.
I think collaborate with the boards. And that's another thing, you know, if you, for example, we've got quite a few jewelers together or leather workers. If you were to start collaborating on boards, it just is fantastic way of increasing your own viewership and following by collaborating together on a board that is common across, I don't know, 10 different makers. So it's doubling your effort by, or reducing your effort by combining your forces. So yeah, Sally, you're also saying that even just 2 pins a day consistently is worth doing. Obviously, more the better. That's absolutely right. You should do pins regularly. And one of the things about putting pins in is, ideally, don't do all of them together. That's an ideal one. So ideally, spread them across the day when you have the time to do it. And if you do have something like Tailwind, or I think I'm sure there must be some, I think Tailwind's free only to a certain degree, and after that you can't use it. There must be other apps that
it's free for the first month.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got a referral link, but you can get discount of $15 if you sign up with somebody's referral link. Have you got one?
We use Hootsuite, so I think we don't use that anymore.
Okay.
Right, Lisa?
Yeah, we use Hootsuite at the moment, just because we use quite a few different platforms. But as a maker, I think it would really, if you focus on Pinterest as a maker, and then obviously your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook kind of follow. But yeah, as a maker,
it's worth trying it out for a month, because that's what I did to see whether it's worth it. And actually, the time it saves me, it's definitely worth it. It just frees up so much time.
It does. And I think one of the points that you said, Sally, and Lisa, you also pointed out, was that these pins stay forever. And the easiest way to look at Pinterest is to look at it as a Google search engine, but visual. So it doesn't matter if the pin was put in today, even 2 years later, that pin will still be floating about somewhere in the ether, and it might pop up when the right keyword search is put in. So you're not losing your work, but the beauty of that is that you can actually repin and repin and repin without having to create new content, which is not something you can do in Instagram or in Facebook. You know, you need fresh content every day, but for Pinterest, you can reuse.
So Helen had a question about hashtags in Pinterest. if you're on, I mean, if you're just looking at keywords, you can really, it works in the same way for Pinterest. You can use hashtags, but if you're just writing the copy in the right way and using the right keywords, that also works well. It's not like Instagram, where people really search trending hashtags like they do on Instagram and Twitter.
I think they're beginning to bring it in, Lisa, aren't they? Slowly. It seems to be moving that way as well.
Yeah, and they're going to be bringing out Pinterest stories. I can't think of the actual word, right, the correct terminology, but yeah, stories where, and it will last forever, kind of like Instagram highlights reels.
I had Pinterest stories for the beta trial thing, and I loved them. They, unfortunately, haven't got them at the moment because they took them away from everybody after they rolled them out. Actually, I think they're bringing them back in.
Yeah, they're rolling them out in certain. I read an article yesterday. Yeah. They're rolling them out in certain places in the States at the moment. Yeah, and then they're going to slowly introduce them to the rest of the world. But
they were testing them out in different places. So different people had different things, because I could pin straight to my URL, but a lot of people in the States couldn't. So I think they were trialing things. So hopefully they'll come back soon.
Yeah.
The other thing about Pinterest is also, our first thought on Pinterest usually is, it's a static post platform. And I remember when we started, Candice and I were pleasantly surprised that we could actually put our videos on it. So that was a bit of an interesting one. So we started using that to post our videos, and videos do extremely well. So, you know, all your how-to videos, little videos that you put on Instagram, you can put them on Pinterest as well. And the other thing that we are going to trial, I think Lisa and I were discussing this, was our videos are usually 3 or 4 minutes long, depending from maker to maker, and we're trying to find a way to slice them up and put little ones, because the viewership on Pinterest is short, the limited in terms of what's the right word for it? The customer is only looking for a short while, and then they're quite happy to go to Facebook or various other channels, or YouTube for that matter. So to use, let's say, a 3-minute video that we've done for you and to slice it up and, you know, have 5 different versions of it floating about on Pinterest and all taking you back to the same place. So that's another way of utilizing the content that's already there and created for you. What other questions do we have?
So Jana made a point, I think it was Jana, yeah, that you can schedule on Pinterest. So you can schedule on Pinterest. It's more that Tailwind, I think, just in terms of usability, and then also being able to pin from anywhere. So like I showed, for example, the article, if you come across an interesting article, all you have to do is click on the hover over the image and you can pin straight away. So in that way, Tailwind is fantastic, but you can schedule directly on Pinterest. But yeah, Tailwind, I think, is just really great if you want to generate easy, quick content and just push it out, so you don't have to sit for hours on end trying to create anything from scratch.
I think the other question that was, or a statement was, Sally, you were saying how many boards is a good number of boards. Lisa, you covered that as well.
Yeah, to see what you said, because I originally had over 100, and I did hear latterly that actually having quite so many boards is difficult to keep on top of, which I certainly would say is true. And so I've sort of curated mine and gone down to about, I think, 26, 27, something like that. But I found it is better to pin regularly to all of the sort of a smaller number of boards than try and spread yourself too thinly over masses. You might have found differently, so I was just interested to find out.
No, so that's definitely, so yeah, that's definitely true. I think it's some people maybe have 2 boards, and it's one is labeled business and the other is labeled personal, and then in that way it doesn't really quite work. So it's more about just creating a few nice boards so that you can segment, as opposed to just having one board. So like I said, if you have jewelry, then saying, okay, great, all necklaces go here, all earrings go here, maybe all gold goes here, all silver goes here, and segmenting it like that, because some people maybe want to look at you know, only silver jewelry. Some people
Yeah.
only want to look at earrings.
I,
So it's not about
I did
creating.
actually do that with
Hmm.
my boards. I've actually added sections to it. When I curated them, I actually started to pin to some of the boards are made as sections within one board, so I sort of decide what goes together. So then it's more sort of logical when I'm into it or looking for something.
I think from an Artisanry point of view, Sally, because we're a platform rather than focusing only on jewelry or on leather, or, you know, we given the size of what we are trying to build, I suppose our boards are going to be much higher than what you would probably do on a personal scale. Because as a jeweler and as a handmade jeweler, you wouldn't have hundreds and hundreds of products. You will be focusing on a few ones, and you want to keep promoting the same thing. So you're absolutely right where you're saying focus on a few, pin them every day, use them every day. From our point of view, the effort needs to be a lot more. I think, Elaine, you've just asked as well.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Are your boards your own? Are your boards your own pins, or do you repin other pins to them? Lisa, you probably answer this one better.
Ours are all just our pins, and maybe saving or other people's pins. But I think as long as you mostly, maybe let's look at 70% your own, 30%.
Sally, what do you think?
I would say I started pinning a lot more of other people's pins, and more recently I've been pinning probably more of my own pins and less of other people's. But it's good to get a balance of both of them, because I think actually you don't want to keep pinning the same pin each time, so you need to be able to give fresh pins. So actually pinning things from other people's websites and things is quite good, because the Pinterest algorithm does like you pinning things from outside of Pinterest, for example, rather than just keep really repinning pins.
Sorry, Sally, you said that it likes it if you pin from out with Pinterest. Is that right?
Isn't great. Sorry, I missed some of that, but I think you can pin from outside of Pinterest into Pinterest from other people's websites as well as from your own.
Okay, cool.
There's another question from Ilana. As a jewelry brand, should I stick only to my work, or should I create other boards such as sustainability, colors, etc.? My answer to that would be yes, but Lisa, if you want to take this as well. Sustainability, my 2 penny worth on this is sustainability is a word just use as much as you can, because it is perhaps the most used word in keyword search at the moment.
Yeah, sustainability, because like I said, obviously you need to showcase your products and what you're making, but in the same, like, there also needs to be a sense of community and also an understanding of what it is you're making. So yes, we know that you're creating beautiful jewelry, but what is the ethos, the brand ethos, and where does it stem from? What are you doing that's kind of different? So to have topical boards is also really great if you are doing sustainability and you want to maybe share some blogs in there, or anything interesting, anything of your own or from somewhere else. It's a nice way for people to kind of go, okay, great, like let me read up on the sustainability side of the brand, of the company.
Once again, you know, there's a lot of content that we have, and as a part of the community, we've repeatedly asked you to take it from us and not just use the reshare app. If you do want the original content to be given to you, we are very happy to do it. We spent a lot of time and effort and money producing that content, and it's just sitting in a folder doing really not very much at the moment, other than being used a few times that we've used it, because there's limit to the number of times we can post. So Pinterest is actually one of the places where we found that we've been able to go back and utilize all our old content yet one more time. And there's no limit. I mean, we've posted sometimes more than 10, 20, 30 pins a day as well, depending on what we have. But if you do need it, please ask. We have folders with your work in it, and we'll be happy to pass it back on to you. So feel free to take it. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Is there anybody here in the group who's not used Pinterest at all? Is this their first sort of foray into it?
Me, I don't use it.
You don't use it at all.
No.
Do you have an account, Andy?
No.
Right, okay.
I don't have time for all this. I'm really interested in it, but I just do not have time for it.
It's the same thing we hear from every maker, and I think everybody here on the video, all 20 people, would echo your thoughts that they don't have the time for it. I think part of the challenge is the fact that there is no time. But most of you guys are creatives and you love working with whatever you work with, and social media and content writing and all of that is just not something that interests you as much either. So it gets put into the category of I don't have time. If you make beautiful things, you have to get out there. That's the only way to make this work. And you can take the effort of what Artisanry has done for you. Andy, you're one of our earliest makers. We've got so much content on you that it's just insane. And you have to just ask to take it and, go and use it again. But having said that, what you can also do is you can get together with other people in the community. And if you start an account now, that's the first thing to do. Go and follow everybody in the community. There are about 70 people that we have. Follow each other. You've got 70 followers to start with. So, it's taken Lisa 6 weeks to get to 68 followers. A bit of a shame considering we've got 70 people in our community. We shouldn't have had to go through that. We should have been followed and been following straight away. So utilize what's at your fingertips. It's easy for us to get distracted and say, oh, we don't have the time. The fact is you've got a lot of resources with this community. So take the step and ask for help, ask to give you the content, and we'll be happy to do it. Sally is asking, is there a list of everybody that we can follow? It's a very good question. How about we send out an email after this, and if you put your Pinterest handles on it and other social media handles, then you guys can follow each other. And if you don't follow Artisanry, please make sure that you follow us as well. So that's a good starting point. I've just got Sally yours, and I think Lisa might just already be following you, but I think we do follow you and you do follow us. But I think the easiest is for us to collate it together on an email and send it around to everybody. So that'll be really good. What else? Any other last thoughts? I'm just looking at time. It's coming up to 1 o'clock. So Monica, you've been quite quiet. You're not really a part of the community yet, but I see that you follow us quite regularly. So I don't know what you do really. I think it is candles and homeware, isn't it? No, I can't hear you.
I'm working with textiles.
All right, okay.
Little creatures. Usually it's now season of gnomes, right, and Christmas birds, and Halloween is coming to.
Oh, that's really good. We've got Leslie here, the other person who does textiles as well. So that's the only, we've got a few more textile artists not here at the moment. Any sort of last thoughts, any questions at all before we go? Mauve, you've been very quiet. Any questions, any thoughts from you? All good? Perfect. Before I let everybody go, I think we've got a couple of slots available for live for the next 2 weeks. If anybody is interested on a Thursday afternoon slot, we're busy after that again. But if you haven't sort of signed up to it, please do look out for the community emails that come out usually from Lisa with various things that we are doing, and with just a cross on it, add to it, and it's always fantastic publicity for your work, and for customers to see who you are and what you really do behind it. So perfect. Thank you very much for your time. It was really great. I'm not sure this went on Facebook, but I've recorded most of it, so it's not too bad. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thanks, Lisa, for getting this sorted.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
Good luck.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.